out of here early and have a 2-0. So to lose that first map, you have that weight on your shoulders of like, oh, okay, so we have to win map 2, which means we're for sure going to a map 3, and the day just gets that much longer. And in all reality, outside of the duel that we have between Renegades and SONIQS, what's really on the line here, right? You do get obviously the prize money, but these teams are shoo-ins already for summer champs. So not to discredit or say that they are just going to be goofing off, but I do think you have a bit of wiggle room when it comes to how tough or how hard you're actually trying here in this best of 3 grand finals.
How about rephrase that? Pull the conversation away a little bit away from trying. Wait a minute. I actually don't want to talk about that right now, because I just realized Plix isn't playing Reyna. Plix is playing into Viper. This is like a new look for this team, because I saw Viper and I'm like, oh, it's a SONIQS. Of course it is, but it's ASCENT. They don't normally play into this. This is something new. Yeah, this is something incredibly new. We were kind of thinking that we would see that Reyna. This is the first time that the Viper has been popped out on ASCENT for this SONIQS squad. And I guess saving strats for summer champs is kind of out the window, right? This is, what I will say to that saving strats comment is, if you're ever going to try something, there's no better time to do it than in a matchup where not everything is on the line, like I was saying before, right? Because scrimbucks don't always necessarily, buy you everything you need when it comes to the actual competitive scene when you're jumping into these tournaments with money on the line and points on the line. So if you're gonna try and make it work, why not try and do it right here, right now? In the grand finals now underway as Jerk tries to slow Dizzy down. Oh my goodness, Randy Savage comes up huge. Everybody mowed down from the SONIQS squad. And here on ASCENT, Renegades looking to strike first, and it's all up to Crunchy in a 1v4 to stop it. But it's Jerk instead. The imposter is down, and Renegades grab the pistol. Well, this is the first time in 4 months that the Renegades have played on this map. The last time they played it was in round of 16 of the VCT qualifiers up against Beast Coast. And it seems like there's no rust at all. They shake it right off. They come straight into this match swinging, taking home a dominant pistol round just off of a huge play there from Randy. So well done to the Renegades to start things off strong. And now for the SONIQS, what are they gonna do with this one? They've decided to invest up a little bit, couple upgraded pistols, some sheriffs out to work with. They're just kind of playing up for some mid control. 3 walking up that catwalk, and there is 1 jet mid to try and receive them as Bob under a lot of pressure here from Winsome.
And the Spectre comes out on top of the pistol there. Unfortunately, Bob not able to get anything in return, not even a bit of damage. Nay push coming on through. Dizzy Life gains quite a bit of ground. Now kind of being a thorn in the side as they start to push on through. Shock dart kill from Randy Savage. Everybody getting in on this. Their hands in the pots as a flawless round comes through, and I'd have to watch that one back. But was that a team ace as well? No, okay, Roy didn't get one, unfortunately. And Roy's playing Killjoy, by the way.
I keep like rediscovering new things about this comp that are interesting, because I don't think they've ever played this map with Roy before. Because 4 months ago, Roy wasn't on the team. This is their first time in an official with Roy. I think this is only the second time I've ever seen Roy not playing Sky while playing for the Renegades. He's played Viper before, but I don't think I've ever seen him play onto this KJ. So that's another thing that's a new look. So much about this matchup is brand new. Like, it's interesting that SONIQS picked this, because there's no way you can have expectations here. Both these teams playing ASCENT so rarely. Anything could happen here. And look at this Viper wall. You don't see a lot of Viper on ASCENT, but I like what I'm seeing. Giving a lot of space for Dizzy Life. He's able to work deep into mid here. Just kind of make himself a bit of a lurker on the jet. Chill out. And because of that, the Renegades have been forced to re-clear some space. They're using that drone up towards B main, trying to shut something down here.
And Randy Savage trying to find something through the wall. Not going to get anything, unfortunately, just yet, as that spike still hovering outside of this B main area for this attacking squad. Ian can creep his way on up. Randy Savage spots him out. Jerk get pulled in by the gravity well. Gonna send one
of his own, but Ian already on the site, taking this position out towards logs, but because of that shot onto the recon bolt, they have the information, and Randy Savage right back to work, only able to find one as Bob sits him down, make it two. Both players on the B site have since fallen. Dizzy now in a bad spot, dashes right into the welcome arms of Retro. A 3v3 situation. Low HP on 2 for Sonic. The spike has been planted. Ian, unfortunately, going to fall there to the Sheriff of Roy. His first kill of the game, and Bob, a bit worse for wear. Hot hands to worry about. Shots on target as well. Plix the next to go. So the bonus round the way of Renegades, and SONIQS struggling to figure this one out.
Yeah, they really are. I thought the lurk up towards mid was good there off the Viper wall initially. They get some space, but it's instantly taken away from them. The retake is in fast from the side of RNG. Roy isolates Ian in main. That allows some weapons to be recovered. I'm wondering, was that a misclick from Dizzy? I feel like that can't be intentional, to just absolutely send it into the face of your opponent. Whatever it is, it's just unfortunate, because that was now 2 guns gifted over to that side of RNG. The SONIQS, they didn't have much to do in that round, and in this next one too, they're just on pistols. 1 Spectre bought in for Dizzy. It's not a good look.
Dueling Owl drones out towards mid. Bob looking to grab a bit of information, is able to spot one up towards market as Winsome no longer on the Rays, now on the Phoenix. Curveball out through, spots out 4, able to take down 1, 2, 3, looking for 4, make it 4. Retro hops on as well, but Renegades, another flawless for their 4th round win.
All right, Winsome, he's just going to turn up a little bit here. Man's normally on the Rays, but he's making the Phoenix a comfortable curveball, so perfect to blind absolutely everyone. And that round, yeah, it was an eco, but that just felt a little sloppy from the SONIQS. They were all just sitting mid, put themselves in a position where they could all just be blinded out by 1 curveball. They were never prepared for a push-up, for a disrespectful play. And that's exactly what the Renegades brought to them. Now they're down 4-0. I mean, it is their attacker side, so that's fine. This is still a situation where they're not too worried just yet, but they do need to find rounds. They do need to find a way into this, and Winsome's not really allowing that. Run it back, plus a Hunter's Fury, kills Ian, and yeah, there's a trade through, but it's just the run it back. Retro's already out catwalk. He's sprayed away a double. Huge play from Retro, and he wants to dip in for a bit more. Last 2 players here ready. Isolates Bob, maybe 4. Retro has it.
Well, I mean, this is... it's... what's going on? It's the Winsome and Retro show. The last couple of rounds, they've gotten 10 kills combined. A 4K and a 1K. Yeah, both flawless as well. That first kill come through. A huge Hunter's Fury to find a tag. Kind of, not necessarily blind, but by just off of a call out alone. And then Retro, I mean, giving me kind of like Victor or Sick vibes, the way that they're playing out towards mid and just kind of walking out on catwalk, all the confidence in the world, and finding those kills, making it happen. So really exciting to watch. And again, we kind of thought, because this was SONIQS picks, that they would be doing something crazy here, but they find themselves down 5-0 almost immediately. And it's looking like 6, as they don't have a whole lot coming into this round, and 2 quick kills, nothing to trade back, and nearly another flawless round. Plix was able to take down Roy, which obviously doesn't feel good, but that economy is flourishing. It's all Gucci everything here for Renegades, and they've already secured an even half, and I would imagine they want more.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to be looking for more. Renegades, I mean, we don't normally know them for that type of aggression. They're normally a bit more of a, I wouldn't call them a passive team per se, but they're a bit more of a calculated team. Here, they're just balls to the wall aggression straight into the face of the SONIQS, and it's working perfectly. SONIQS don't seem ready for this at all, because obviously this is Renegades with these 2 new players, that being of Roy and that being of the new... We don't even have a chance to bring that up. Winsome just pushing it alone. He's shut down by Bob there, so it's a good start now for the SONIQS. Wall comes up. Roy in the backlines. He's in for a bit of trouble here.
An interesting cosmic divide. They're going to have to push right into Roy in order to get onto the site, and he is glad to take that fight as Bob finds another, really being a catalyst for this squad. Okay, there was a minor area to be able to plant that spike, so all's well that ends well. The spike goes down just as Ian does, creeping up out towards mid. This is the real
first chance that we've seen SONIQS have an opportunity at finding a round win as the recon bolt goes through. It's gonna get smoked off. Dizzy Life trying to find some spray through the smoke, and they're not healthy enough to stick halfway. Roy very low on HP. Here comes a Hunter Shuri. Bob sits down another, needs to find an ace on the round to try and clutch things out. Ends the last few shots, and it's all up to Jerk, who
Jerk, hello?
appears to be having issues.
All right, well, it was nice to see Jerk well we could, but he was knocked out. What I was saying before that round got underway was that this is Jerk's first time playing this map with Renegades. This is Roy's first time playing this map with the Renegades, and they're just looking so good with it. We do have that tac pause out, I imagine just to get Jerk back in the server, whatever did happen to him. But I mean, Tanner, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the SONIQS for a second while we have this chance. What do they need to change up to shut this down? Because right now, they're struggling to stop this aggression that the Renegades are showing.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this map on Ascent is a bit foreign to them. It feels really strange at the way that they're trying to play things, and you have your duelists who just aren't able to do a whole lot, right? And when you play Jet all the time, like Dizzy Life does, plays a whole lot of Jet, your job is typically to dash onto the site and kind of try and create some space. But it seems like a bit of unfamiliarity on the map, and then especially with the comp behind it, there's just been no real way for the star fragger in the game that we just saw in Icebox to really come online. And you've got the same problem, I believe, with Iron as well, who's still killless here in this one. I will say what seems to lean more towards a defender-sided comp in SONIQS, that bodes well for them, but you can't go down 12-0 and then hope to go to defense and win 12-0, right? But when you take a peek at the comp, you have the Viper, you have the Astra, you have the Killjoy. That right there is all the defense you need, and then you can allow the rest of your team to just make plays and find kills around it. But you have to find something. 10-2, 11-1, 12-0 is not where you want to be, even if your comp is defender-sided.
I think their way forward into winning these rounds is going to have to be just abusing the post plant. Because like you mentioned, they have Viper, Astra, they have all the utility they could hope for to shut down in these post plant scenarios, so long as they can get into them. And thus far, that's been a struggle. That last round was only the second time we've seen that spike come down for the SONIQS squad, but that pause is coming up. Got everyone back into the server nicely. And Randy, playing in with this Odin, could manage to at least spray away some chip damage here.
Yeah, you don't hate to see that. Obviously, it's unbeknownst to Randy Savage, but that's on the Viper, and the Viper has a Viper's Pit, so any damage that you can get down onto that player makes it that much easier to spray inside the pit when it does eventually come down, if it does, here in this round. But a couple of defensive ults once they get on the site, and there's one of them locked down to come on through. I'm not too sure if there's an answer for it. The shock dart queued up, tossed out, not gonna find the spot just yet, trying to readjust, but now stuck on the site. Randy Savage looks to get in the corner and actually gets away. Randy Savage is able to hang out inside the boathouse. Obviously, they had to know that there was a very small angle. Now on the flank out towards mid. Crunch is gonna find one. Randy Savage did end up falling on the side, and Retro is there to trade back a kill, make it a second. So with the Viper's Pit planted down, a 3v3 situation, a couple of ults online on the side of Renegades, and that lockdown could play a huge part here in this one. Gonna use it on the opposite side of Switch. This one cannot be wall banged like we see some of them when you do put it inside that Switch house, and there's no safe place on the side, so they're forced to come on through, and it's everybody starting to fall. Retro with 3, Jerk with 2, and Renegades with 7.
Perfect utility usage. Jerk slotting right on into the keyhole of this Renegades Ascent lineup. They drop down that lockdown, and then just on the other side of that Viper's Pit, they drop the Gravo. But the thing is, you have to walk through the Viper's Pit to see it, so they were completely unaware. They were pulled in, made vulnerable, and just completely executed. That retake absolutely clinical from the side of RNG. And the scoreline, it's getting worrying because the SONIQS are losing rounds that it seems like they're in the position to win. By every right, they should have won that round. They had their advantage, but, I mean, they just got retroed. And then man advantage was there for the Renegades. The ult was there to shut down. They found it off of it, and 7-1, that is a scary proposition.
And unless there are some crazy heroics here in this round from SONIQS, they're on upgraded pistols. It's leaning towards 8-1. Bob gets some information. Again, just that one is playing out towards Market. And Randy Savage has spent a handful of rounds there here on Ascent. The spike creeping up into tree room. Retro didn't spot him out just yet. Finds the shots through the cloud burst. That's the best you could hope for. A dash away and not taking too much damage. Is still in a scary spot. A headshot from a sheriff will sit him down, but instead Crunchy with the rifle in hand. Plix is there right behind him, and it's only a handful of members here that are on that hindered by. I'm not too sure Bob picked one up. No, Bob will fall. It doesn't matter. That's the spike down, and Roy starting to come online, showing us that he's not just a one-trick pony here on the Killjoy. Getting something done with that Cosmic Divide. It's going to close off anything out towards that A main area. The two remaining are stuck here on the site and almost spotted out. Plix able to sneak away. Ian not having the best crossfire here in this one, so we'll see how they try and work together. The spike is ticking down. 3v2. Renegade going to have to pull the trigger here soon and now. Once that snake bite goes through, there's the poison cloud. It's going to chip him away, and this is very winnable. Flick's able to find one, needs to find another, able to spot one coming down. It's Ian to pick it up now in a 1v2. Jerk needs to go huge. Jerk has gone huge before, but can't do it here. SONIQS find another round.
Good work from Plix there. Viper utility proving invaluable in that circumstance because they had to wait for that molly to dissipate. They had to wait for that snake bite to leave its position. They weren't able to push up, and the second it goes down, out comes the poison orb. Plix playing around that very nicely to pick up a double in way of frags. And SONIQS, they just nearly clinched that one out in a moment that they absolutely needed it. But again, this is something that they can't rely on for consistency. This was a 1v1 clutch. These rounds shouldn't need to come this close to be winning them.
It's really taken a whole lot. And I mean, we have seen some heroics on both sides, right? Winsome picking up a 4K, Retro picking up 4K. So both sides are, their round wins have really come from singular players picking up the slack wherever they need to. Retro, bit worse for wear early in this round. No way to heal up, unfortunately. So forced to back away and play in an awkward position out towards that defender-sided spawn as Randy Savage plays a bit aggressive on top of those stars. Ups into using the owl drone. And is going to back away after spotting a few.
Nice shot from Dizzy towards mid. Takes down Retro. Bob will be revealed out by that recon dart, but there's still two players from the Renegades playing in towards this B site. However, a split's forthcoming. Jerk shuts down one, has the grab well to keep himself safe towards mid, though. Ian finds Roy. This opens up the opportunities as the SONIQS look for a rotation.
And there's another Cosmic Divide online here for SONIQS, and we saw the way they used it last time. They're going to be met by Winsome as he drops down. Shot is heard by Ian, and I don't think he knows he's here, so the backstab comes on through, but Winsome still able to find one before Ian trades him back. Lockdown is going to be used. Plix to fall. That's the spike down, and in a 1v2 situation, Randy Savage not able to grab much more than that. Jerk bringing up the rear through A main, and has a whole lot of room, a whole lot of space to try and find something. Going Galactic was Crunchy, but at the worst possible time, Ian swings, and that's the best possible time to do it. 4K for the Killjoy, and SONIQS, they seem to have figured it out.
Ian, again, finding his impact in the clutch. It's what we were talking about in that previous matchup on Icebox. He was so damn good in those clutch situations. He comes up big again in the 1v1, but now that's 2 rounds in a row where the only way SONIQS have been able to pick these up has been down to the 1v1s. These big plays from the Renegades keep them accountable, but now the money is kind of on the teetering edge for both sides. Loser of this round going to be completely reset onto an eco. Big impact for both squads. Sonic and working their way up mid here.
And they're not out of it just yet, but this is what we said needed to happen, right? Their team looks to aim to be a bit stronger on the defensive end, and 9-3 obviously stings. 7-5 feels great in going into that defense, but with the run it back available, I think Winsome will have something to say about that. Roy looking to go aggressive. The Killjoy is going to spot out one another. Ian forced to back away. Maybe use a nano swarm. Try and stop Roy from advancing forward
any further. I'm still keeping my eye on Winsome, playing out towards that tree room area and to see where that run it back gets used. Both duelists have their ults online. This Spike still hanging out towards top mid, though. Tells me that we're looking at an A play. Whereas Bob and Plix just trying to buy a rotation, buy some space for their team to take that A site for free. And that is not going to be the case.
Oh, Roy in a nice spot here into the Cloudburst. He finds Dizzy. Now the remainder of the Sonics, they have to fall back just a little bit. Run it back keeps him at bay. Now a Nebula as well. Roy playing around this. Roy nearly the double. Ian does trade, but he falls at the hands of Retro. And look at the time. Very little left. The Sonics have to take this incredibly quickly. And everyone from the Renegades on the site ready to deny this 10 seconds. They have to go now, but they're deciding against it. Conceding the round. It'll be 8 found for the Renegades off of just a save for the Sonics. And Winston, I mean, he could even shut down some of these rifles. Won't happen. Plix gets a double, does die for it. And now Bob trying to just hold on to this gun. Will be able to pull it into the next. But regardless, 8 for RNG. And we talked about the implications of that round for the money. Sonics looking rough now.
Yeah, I mean, it's on both ends, kind of. You do have a couple of members that can drop from Renegades, but because they all just about died there at the end of that round almost for free, it kind of matches the one rifle getting the save economy or the lack thereof economy for saving in Bob hanging onto that Phantom. So both of these teams a bit worse for wear. You see light shields on a few members as well as a judge in the hand of one. The Blade Storm is online for both of the Jets, and I don't think for Dizzy Life he's got another weapon, so a spooky spot to be in. We'll need to find a kill, dash on top, and try and find a secondary weapon that isn't just a classic. But here comes the Cosmic Divide. Randy Savage gets tagged out, and they are going to concede this B site for now. Viper's Pit actually off the site. Plix, this is a pretty heads-up play here, making it so hard to get onto the B site, which is tough to clear, let alone now with the Viper's Pit in front of it.
Look, the wall is still up here, yet to come down. There's utility to fight forward from this. The Sonics, they have so much control under their domain. And RNG, they don't have flashes. This is going to be so hard for them to fight into.
Oh, that's the best possible tag and saved by the opposition's Cosmic Divide. Dizzy picks up 2, goes huge, and they're all starting to get cut down. The Cosmic Divide still alive. Plix playing the close corner, able to sit down, win some and jerk. Once more, needs to go Galactic here in a clutch and just can't do it. 8-4, the Sonics claw their way back and get the best of a bad situation as they mount their defense. Look at the score lines, Mimi.
I love that Viper. Yeah, this is a crazy game. It has been so back and forth. It looked like the Renegades were going to be able to just sweep the Sonics under the rug, but they come back in a big way. And I want to talk about that round a little bit with that Viper's ult, because what that did for them was just create an extra extremity to hold on to. You saw that they bought about like 20-30 seconds chilling out in the ult, and then everyone retreated together. They fell back, gave that control over to RNG, but they had bought enough time. They had bought enough kills off of that ult. It just creates a buffer of utility for the Sonics to play around, allows them a fourth. But now we're into the second half here. We have to see what have the Sonics cooked up for the defense.
Stay down.
Well, it's Dizzy Life finding a headshot onto the counterpart in Retro, so a huge one to take off, and Dizzy Life has been struggling here on Ascent, so to get on the board nice and early. And I mean, what is more Sonic-esque than playing for the defensive side, right? It's also Haven, where they run a duelist list comp, and which isn't the best on the attacking side, but it's got a really strong defense. So we're seeing that exact same thought process here on Ascent, and not that I'm necessarily a fan of it. If it works, it works. As Bob gets a bit of information to playing out towards mid, is going to back away from the drone as Winsome is up close and personal onto the speed site. He's going to be deterred for a moment as that toxic screen goes up, and that Spike still hanging out towards mid, so Renegades have some options.
This wall's really interesting. Helps to kind of lock down this fight towards Catwalk as well as B main, really providing a lot of utility. See, Plix here just on the jiggle, using that Viper Molly to shut down a quick play in towards Catwalk. That seems to be what the Renegades do want, rotating that Spike in towards main. Players a little bit late, but they'll make it here in time. 30 seconds, though. If they can bide time with Hamali, split up this play, isolate the player towards Cat, this could very much go awry.
And Plix inside the Nebula, not going to be the player spotted out by the turret. So you expect one to be Heaven. Do you expect one here on the switch? No, they don't. Vulnerable R3, and Plix will sit him down. Renegades wasted too much time throughout the round, and not only running out of time, but they run out of players. SONIQS grab the pistols, only losing one. And that's that stalwart defense that we expected to see.
Every single choke point here was covered by Viper utility. You had that poison orb towards A main, towards B main, middle, and catwalk. It was covered by that wall that we see Plix putting up now. And when you combine that into the late round with those Viper mollies, it's just so hard to push. I'd love to see Renegades maybe taking the pace up a notch, because you cannot play slow when there is a Viper to deny you in that late round.
Renegades opting to hang out with just the classics. Use the power in numbers strategy here as they all creep up towards A main. Roy is kind of playing out towards mid, so maybe looking for a lurk later in the round, but this is one of those rounds where you kind of just send it, especially when you're walking through the decay. Chipped away, no armor, only 50 health. Zion finds the first one to Randy Savage. That's the spike down, and now looking for some more. The run-in gun is good for 3 kills on the round. The 2 remaining out towards B. Oh, Dizzy Life gonna sneak away the ace, but it's a flawless round in response to all the RNG flawless rounds that we saw in the first half. But this is the real test, Mimi.
This has been a crazy game. I'll be honest. I was a doubter. I thought that the SONIQS were going to get rolled over right here after I saw how things started off, but they have come back. They figured out how they want to play this, and now on the defense, the way they're playing with this Viper, the way that they're playing with this Astra as well, has provided them so much flexibility. It's similar. I like the point you bring up, comparing this to their no duelist comp they run on Haven. They can just rely on utility to buy so much time and just absolutely make Renegade's life hell. Here's this one-way towards A main. They're just fighting off of this. They don't even need to commit to these duels, because all they're doing is ensuring that they keep this map control. And this time, well, the Renegades, they're working things up mid, but you see this alarm bot. There's a KJ ready to play off it.
So information given that one may be creeping up. It's Dizzy up close and personal. Some way somehow finds a tag there with the Marshal. Not going to find the kill as Roy adds some armor. So Dizzy goes right back to it to try and finish off what he started this time with the Sheriff. Never send a Marshal to do a Sheriff's job, and that's exactly why you send the big guns, as Roy will fall. Bob now in an awkward spot, trying to play Legolas here. Not going to get it done. It's Jerk and Retro hop on the board. So even across the board in terms of kill, but Dizzy Life continues to go to work, and Crunchy right behind him. A lot of people will say nerf the Frenzy. Crunchy might not be one of them, as they find another kill, and Jerk once more needs to go galactic, needs to pull out the heroism with 4 stars and 54 health. But imagine saving is the call here.
This is the bonus for the SONIQS that they're about to pull off. That, well, they almost have a guaranteed win at this point. Spike not in Jerk's possession. This has just got to be the commitment in towards that save. Big plays, especially there from Crunchy. He was just kind of jiggling in and out, keeping Dizzy safe, and they were just able to tag team that entire catwalk hold, win the round pretty much just as that duo. Well, now SONIQS, this gap is down to only 1. The Renegades, they've got to start getting a little bit nervous, and if they're to lose this next round, that's evened up. How can they change this? How can they adapt around this? Because even though the SONIQS has kept this streak of rounds up, notice how Plix has been changing the way he plays the Viper. Last round, the wall was different. It was going from, I think, B market over towards A. He wasn't fighting A main. Instead, that was 2 other players. Now the KJ is edged towards the A site. SONIQS are constantly moving how they're playing this, and Renegades, they're struggling against that. They're struggling with this lack of information.
And the Odin spray, not going to find much there, unfortunately, for Bob. Dizzy to do just that and finding a kill, but the Sheriff starts to come online. Retro and Winsome, the duelists, unfortunately taking the site, but immediately being stripped of it is Retro. As Winsome pushes on through, has a weapon now in hand, and oh my goodness, must have spotted Plix in the very small corner. And what just, Mimi, what just happened?
I don't want to I don't want to talk about it. Can we talk about something else? Because I don't know how Renegades have pulled this off. Thrifty fashion. They recover some weapons, pull out ahead there. I think the SONIQS were just a little overzealous in some of the ways they were fighting mid there. They just took these isolated duels. We're losing them out. You can never disrespect those Sheriffs, especially when it's a team like the Renegades you're up against.
What that? I mean, that is. I mean, this is why these teams are in the grand finals, right? They're being able to get that. And you see that small.
Did he even see him? I'm so okay.
I think there is a theory that the Viper's toxic screen, the blaze wall, it kind of waves differently for everybody. So I think that quite possibly Winsome actually saw more than what Plix could see on the opposite side. I don't know if that's completely true, but you did see that he spotted just a bit and maybe heard the footsteps because Plix did have to start boogieing to try and catch up to that Phoenix. But either way, a really heads-up kill from Winsome. And even if had that kill not gone through, I think Renegades pick up that round because there was 3 remaining at the end. And obviously that would have just been cleaned up there in the last one. But some way, somehow, the heroics continue. The Sheriffs pop off and Renegades find their first round win on their attacking side. The Duelists still have their ults available, and Winsome can be very scary on this Phoenix. There it is.
Look at this utility. Instantly shut down. Oh, he's still in it. Stuck in there. Somehow gets away with very little HP, but could have nearly died in that position. Dizzy holding with the op. Retro has forded the river, made it past this line of sight, but Dizzy gets one. They're dashing up. Dizzy under pressure here. He has the tailwind, but it doesn't work too well in these close quarters. However, Bob's here with the judge double immediately. Dizzy gets one with the op, and in close. I guess it's a shotgun too, because Bob and Dizzy combine for 5 and pull a flawless 8th for the SONIQS.
And you had said that the tailwind doesn't do great in close quarters. Well, the judge does a pretty darn good job. Right here we see one shot. You don't even need the collateral. There's just so many pellets hitting everybody as we get to see that shotgun mode operator from Dizzy Life, who is now starting to come online. And on the attacking side, I believe only had 1 kill. Now has 12. And that's pretty scary for Renegades. You now have to worry. Before you're thinking maybe, okay, the Jet doesn't have that much impact. Well, now Dizzy's starting to come online, and that's exactly what SONIQS need to make the game as close as it is. And just a reminder, folks, this is just game 1.
Could be in for a full 3 mapper, and if the SONIQS can pick this one up, I wouldn't be surprised, but they're still down a round. Still a little bit on the back foot, but they definitely have the momentum, the advantage when they're stuck in to defend. Dizzy holding here, but the drone should reveal his position. Renegades look to be trying to end in a B split.
Wow.
Okay, Dizzy. That's just a Dizzy difference, I do suppose. But like I was saying, they're attempting to work in towards this B split, but Bob in the smoke could be able to make a play here.
An op shot up close and personal. Dizzy able to finish what he started. Bob to find another. Retro forced to dash away, and all the knives go wide, so nothing in response. They go toe-to-toe. Retro's able to find that kill. Not able to find the next. It's down to the last 2 as that lockdown. Trying to force him off the site. They run right at him, but they get punished before the ult can pop. 4 still alive. A near flawless as SONIQS tie us up at 9.
Dizzy Life, once they got him on the op, that is when this man turned up, providing so much impact for the squad. And I talked about in that previous match how when they allow Dizzy on to the Jet, he just has so much flexibility to make plays. That's what we're seeing here. I think that's one of the biggest reasons they're winning these defensive rounds, because the whole team kind of flexes their setup around where Dizzy wants to play. They're changing where this Viper wall is, depending on where that Jet op is. When you can just play around a really powerful Jet opper, you can get so much done, especially on a wide open map like Ascent. And here's another chance. Dizzy looking to get this done. They're dashing forward. Bob gets one. It's the knives for Dizzy for another. Trade comes through for Jerk, but Dizzy still trying to defend.
And Dizzy almost found a shot through the smoke as well. That one gonna go wide, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. The kills are slowly coming through. It was 0, then 1, and now 2 for Renegades. The rounds continue to swing the way of SONIQS. And I mean, what do you even do? Right now, you have a couple of ults
online for both of these squads, but the Hunter's Fury and that Cosmic Divide, that's not going to net you a round win, especially when every time Randy Savage is trying to use that drone, it's made quick work of by Dizzy, always spotting out where the op is, not being able to find a tag. It makes that Hunter's Fury that much harder to hit, and it's not something that you just want to chuck away.
Absolutely. Here holding. Retro's trying to counter up. I think this is the right play because normally they can fall back on having a Sky to flash Dizzy off, but this time they just have to fight him, and it doesn't work out. Randy's the one to take first contact. Randy's the one to fall, so SONIQS, they're up a man here. Roy trying to make a play, does shut down Dizzy. No real trade potential in that one, so let's start it off a bit rough. This is looking good for the Renegades in the 4v4, especially since they have players postured to make this A split a reality.
That spike is slowly creeping on up. The Viper's Pit is still available for Plick, so at any point if B becomes in the question, can just pop that as vulnerable. Was Winsome unable to sit him down. Lockdown queued up, not going to be used just yet as Retro goes wide on the shot. Bob with the Hunter's Fury, able to find one, make it a second, a jerk once more. The last player standing for Renegades. SONIQS not opting into using a whole lot here. As a fake plant comes through, 46 health. 2 players to worry about right in front. Jerk will fall. SONIQS push to 11, and they only had to use the Hunter's Fury. They still have 3 huge ultimates to stop this attacking squad, and Renegades can quite possibly push themselves to match point.
I love watching Bob play Sova. I wish they had Bob on Sova on practically every map, because look at just the way that Hunter's Fury was used there was perfect. That's not something that like you can stride out, that like when you're a Sova you're thinking, oh, when they're executing sight I pop my Hunter's Fury. No, that's just looking at the minimap, being aware and listening to what's going on with your teammates and having the perfect setup to shut down 2 with the ult. That's the team coordination that the SONIQS really brings out. And now the Renegades, they're starting to feel the pressure because they came into this half looking good. 8-4, feeling fine, ready to take this one home, and the SONIQS have just completely locked them out. There has been a shutdown across the board, and I think one of the biggest reasons for that is that Dizzy is just not dying.
There's been no answer for it. This is exactly what we saw. It took longer to get there, but this is the Dizzy that we saw in Icebox. You put an op in their hands, you put them on defense, and it doesn't seem like, at the very least, the last 2 teams, Renegades being one, Virtuoso being the next, have a singular answer for that, as we do get that tactical timeout from Renegades on what is quite possibly what I like to say the most important round to do it, right? Because you've got one to waste, although you don't want to waste it. You do have 1 round of breathing room. So if you're going to start your comeback, do it right here and right now. Dizzy Life may be sniffed out here. Tosses out the Cloud Burst. Is going to swing out towards Randy Savage. Shot going to miss. Dash to get away. But just Sheriff's, I believe, a Spectre in the hands of 1. So this round for Renegades, they're a bit worse for wear.
They do get that tailwind out of Dizzy immediately. All 3 of his Cloud Bursts gone as well, so it does kind of neuter him a little bit, makes it a bit more hard pressed to go for those aggro plays, but they're trying to just work and execute here. No, it's a fake with the wall. Cosmic Divide goes up, they're rotating away, but no one's bitten. There's still 2 players holding towards A. There's still Dizzy in mid. Could all go very wrong for the Renegades.
I mean, and look at that hold. Even this, if this wasn't a fake, how did you sell that? You didn't. You pushed up into a one-way smoke, and then you were just completely stunted. There was just nothing you could do as Crunchy sprays through the Nebula smoke there, finds Winsome, sent back. Now the spike to be planted, and unfortunately the Killjoy utility didn't get all the value they could have hoped for, as Randy Savage queues up a Hunter's Fury of their own to try and stop the lockdown. Does just that. And I was looking for some extra love, just can't find it. Low on HP is the Sova, the drone for the information, and Recon Bolt gets just so much of it. Bob goes huge with the info. Crunchy and Dizzy Life start to feast off the back end, and Renegade down to the last 3. Make it the last one, and it's the low HP, the 1 HP. Randy Savage, shock darts in hand, trying to get him off the spike, does just that, but halfway and plenty of time means SONIQS find themselves on map point.
That retake was so beautiful. I thought there was a chance to lose out on that retake, especially since Dizzy had the op on the work back in. That's not normally what you want to see, but Bob's recon dart gets a scan off there immediately. Dizzy finds a wall bang with the op. I think there was a second wall bang kill as well initially, and then that completely neutralized the crossfires that RNG had established. Everyone was on their own at that point. Everyone was taking their independent duels, and no one was winning them. The SONIQS nearly flawless in their pursuit of match point, but the Renegades have money here. They have weaponry, but they still don't have a solution. They still don't have ultimates. This could very well be all she wrote.
In a Viper's pit to stop a play out towards B. At least, at the very least, B main. So the idea of a split, not very possible for this squad. And Flick's actually playing on the opposite side. So, I mean, you're not getting the info if anybody's pushing on through, but you're also not risking dying. So at the very least, if somebody does come through, you're probably going to have 1 health. And that's a favorable trade for anybody here on this map, as Crunchy has a favorable trade, trading some damage out onto Winsome. Retro to follow as well. Tagged up, not taken down. Now chipped away. Winsome able to heal up. Retro, unfortunately, not able to. Bob looks for the spray through the market doors. So they do opt into playing out towards mid because they can't go B main, but they run right into Crunchy, who sprays them down for 2. Renegades able to trade 1 back. They're still down a player. Curveball queued up, a shot in the back, and Winsome's there to trade it, but they're still down a player. Almost 2-0 through the wall. Bob gets it done. And whether it be the Sova or whatever, I love Bob with the Odin in hand as well. In a 1v3 situation, Jerk gonna push on through. The decay is there. He's able to find that kill on to Plix. Knife out in hand, and 13-9 as SONIQS close it out.
Oh, great match.